New Year's Eve. A time meant for laughter, for family, for fresh beginnings. But that night, in the warm glow of holiday lights and clinking silverware, a single joke shattered everything. And I still don't know if I was wrong to stand by my husband, or if I helped ruin my family. It started with laughter. My husband Mike is a jokester. At least, that's how I've always seen him. He cracks jokes in every room he walks into. He's that guy, the one who wants to get a laugh out of everyone. Sometimes inappropriate, sometimes immature, but never malicious. That's what I've always believed. That's what I wanted to believe. Mike especially loves teasing my older brother Ethan. They used to go back and forth all the time, jabs about sports, career choices, even wardrobe. It felt like brotherly ribbing, until it wasn't. See, Ethan and his wife went through a lot. Years of trying, doctors, treatments, hope, heartbreak, silence. They eventually made the decision to adopt, and when little Joey came into their lives 2 years ago, everything changed for them. He became their world. You could see it in their eyes, the relief, the love, the kind of love that comes from choosing someone with your whole heart. But Mike couldn't let the jokes go. They started off light, or so I thought. Comments like, well, at least you didn't have to deal with diapers from birth, or hope Joey's real parents don't come knocking. He'd say it with a chuckle, a grin, a wink. I'd elbow him. Too far, I'd whisper. And every time, he'd say the same thing. Relax, it's just a joke. I told him it bothered them. I told him to stop. He swore he meant no harm, that he was just trying to get them to react. That phrase, get them to react, it didn't sit right with me. But I brushed it off. Because Mike was my husband. Because I didn't want to believe he could be cruel. Because it's easier to defend a joke than to admit the man you love is hurting people. Then came New Year's Eve. My parents threw a big dinner. One of those rare nights when everyone was together. Siblings, spouses, grandkids. The kind of night you take pictures of. The kind of night you remember. Ethan and his wife came, Joey too. Everyone was smiling. Plates were full. Glasses clinked. The sound of forks on china, laughter over stories, old family songs playing in the background. It felt perfect, until it wasn't. Mike raised his voice at the table. Knock, knock, he said. Ethan smiled. Who's there? Mike grinned, leaned in, and said loud enough for the whole table to hear, Joey's bio parents. He burst out laughing, and the room went silent. Not the kind of silence that follows a bad joke. The kind that weighs on your chest. The kind where every breath feels like broken glass. Ethan didn't say anything at first, but his face changed. His wife, eyes burning, looked straight at Mike and said, You're an idiot. Mike, still laughing, waved his hand. Come on, relax. It was just a joke. But there was no relaxing after that. An argument exploded. Voices rising, chairs pushed back, silverware clattering to the floor. My parents stepped in. My mom's face was pale with rage. She didn't raise her voice, but her words cut like knives. Mike, leave. I couldn't believe it. I tried to intervene, tried to calm them down, but my mom stood firm. Leave. So we left. Mike muttering under his breath the whole way home, angry that no one could take a joke, angry that he had been humiliated. But I was angry too. Not at Mike, at my parents. I called my mom later that night. I told her she overreacted, that yes, maybe the joke wasn't great, but kicking Mike out, that ruined the night. She didn't hold back. She told me I was wrong, that Mike crossed a line. one he had been told not to cross. The jokes about someone's adopted child, jokes that dig into deep wounds about infertility and identity, are not harmless. She said Mike had been warned, that his behavior wasn't funny. It was cruel. She said I was cruel for defending him. And then she said something I can't stop hearing. "You're delusional." And she hung up. That was days ago. No one's spoken to us since. I've called Ethan. No response. I sent a message to his wife. Nothing. My parents haven't reached out. The silence feels worse than the argument. Mike keeps saying they're too sensitive, that people today can't take a joke, that he didn't mean anything by it. But I'm starting to question everything. I thought I knew the difference between teasing and cruelty. I thought I knew my husband's heart. But maybe I've been blind. Maybe I've been so desperate to defend the man I love that I've ignored the harm he causes. Maybe I've told myself for too long that intent matters more than impact. But if the person on the receiving end is hurt, does it matter what you meant? I've replayed that night over and over, the silence, the look on Ethan's face, the way his wife clenched her fists under the table, the way my mother's voice didn't shake when she told us to leave. And I can't stop wondering, if Joey had been old enough to understand, would he have laughed? Would he have laughed at the joke about the parents who gave him up? Would he have laughed at the idea that maybe he doesn't really belong? Would he have laughed if he knew that someone in his own family thinks of him as a punchline? I don't know. And I don't know if I can keep pretending that this was all just a misunderstanding. I wanted a peaceful New Year's. I got a broken family. So, am I the asshole? It's easy to say, it was just a joke. It's easy to dismiss pain when you're not the one who feels it. But what we see in this story, what we feel, is the slow erosion of empathy in the name of humor. There's a fine line between comedy and cruelty. And it's drawn not by the person telling the joke, but by the person receiving it. Mike wanted a reaction, and he got one. But the truth is, a joke that needs to be explained, defended, or excused was never really a joke in the first place. It was a weapon. And sometimes, the sharpest weapons don't draw blood. They draw silence. If you've ever laughed at someone's pain, if you've ever stood by while someone else did, ask yourself, was the laugh worth the scar? And if you've ever been on the receiving end of those jokes, know this: you deserve better. You deserve peace at the dinner table. You deserve love without conditions. You deserve a family that doesn't make you the punchline. So, what do you think? Is it ever just a joke? Let us know in the comments. And remember, some stories don't need a laugh track. They need a mirror